Hi, I'm Mary Lou Henner, and I'm back with my fabulous co-stars from the Aurora Teagarden Something New Mysteries series. I'm here with Skylar Samuels.
Hi.
And Evan Roderick.
Hello.
And it's like a little reunion for us too, because we shot the movies a little bit ago, and now we get to share them with you. And we are so excited to be promoting them on the new Hallmark Plus, where you can see everything that Hallmark has to offer. So I hope you sign up and you enjoy our latest work. Okay, so now I haven't talked to you guys since you've seen the movie, but so I definitely want to get into what you thought of it, and did it seem like what you expected? Because I think I've done 21 of these now, and I think this is two of the best that have ever been done in the Aurora Teagarden series. I really do. Yeah. I think they're pretty amazing. What did you guys think?
Sky?
Okay, so movie two, which was a lesson in murder, I thought was so fun. And it was really nice to see it come together because it was a little more like camp and pop than we've seen before. And I loved like all the circular shots and the colors of that crazy pizza and play place. It just was great. And Kevin, so he was unbelievably funny.
So good.
I want to just like have him be like our Where is Waldo, where he just like makes a cameo in every movie, because I think he's absolutely hilarious. So that was my favorite like kind of pop out of a lesson in murder. But no, it was so much fun to see it come together, and I'm so proud of it.
And I think, we all did the first one together, and we did these two kind of back to back or block shooting, which for you, the audience, you probably don't know what this means, but it's like you shoot two movies at the same time. And maybe you're in a location, so you do all the scenes from one movie in that location, and then you do all the scenes for the other movie in that location. And we got to do it. So we really did get like a nice, cozy time together. It's a murder mystery, two of them, but it still felt cozy, because I think this one, we really bonded as a group even more. And we've become this little repertory company, and it's really been special. And Evan, what did you think of well, let's talk about A Lesson in Murder first. What did you think when you saw it? Without giving too much away.
Without giving too much, I'm the liability in this group too, so I got to be careful. But like Sky said, I was gonna say the stuff we shot at Pizza and Play with Kevin, the color schemes, like the deep reds, the blues, and just how sprawling the story was in a good way. Like how many suspects there are in that second movie, I think is going to be really, really exciting for people to see.
I have to say, I think it's our most clever of Aurora Teagarden of all time. I was really surprised. I thought it was great. I think it's pretty incredible. And just, Jessica Harmon is our director, and she is so innovative and has so much energy, and it fits the energy of all the people in this cast. And it was just, it was great. And it was so nice to see Kayla Heller, who plays Sally. She wasn't depressed in this one, and you got to see those big, big eyes that she has, and really enjoying herself and being such a great comedian, because she's very, very funny.
I mean, that chase sequence is like, it deserves its own movie. That is one of my favorite things, her getting chased through that play palace situation is just with the pizza hat. Like, it's just so kind of absurd in the best way, because it's like scary and funny almost at the exact same time. It was really so fun. She killed it, no pun intended, but she did a great job.
She's not the murderer. She's not the murderer, which we know.
Sweet Kayla, never.
We can leave that open. Maybe she is.
Yeah, maybe she is. So any of the funny stories that happened off stage, backstage, and not stage, but you see, I've done 3 plays in a row on the set. Anything really different this time? Because I know what I'm going to say, but do you guys have any like funny stories?
I mean, for me, I feel I have to give Steve Basic a shout out here, because he's so funny on set. And yes, we're doing pretty serious films in terms of like the content is serious. We're dealing with a lot of the times a dead person, or a lot of very serious things going on. But having Steve on set is he just kind of finds a way to brighten everyone's day, and anything that comes out of his mouth is funny.
He's loud. You know what I mean? And
Very
he's
loud.
And he's such a character. And it's really fun. And in the second one, he's all like, rah, 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 rah. He's like this growly guy. And then in the third one, which is called Death in the Diner, you get to see some of his backstory because his ex-wife shows up.
I love all that stuff. Yeah.
That was great too. Yeah. So I think it's really become this tight little group. It feels like a repertory company. It feels like a family, the love, finding each other's rhythms. And Skylar, tell us what you think about like off stage, off set, any funny stories that you think about?
I mean, there's like two main things that pop into my mind. The first is Patrice, my beloved wig, who I feel deserved her own credit in the movies because learning how to kind of like rock the Aurora wig was, quite the challenge when you're doing a stunt sequence. So learning how to do that and like, keep the hair looking great while you're being chased by killers was a new skill. So that was kind of a funny thing to figure out. But I think my favorite change about this go round was we had a lot of new members of the Aurora Teagarden family join us. So it was my first job back to work after having a baby last year. And Jessica Harmon, our beloved leader and director, was, I think, 8 months pregnant.
Well, I think she was 7 or 6.
Well, yeah, right there. Very much like
she was almost ready.
Yeah, almost ready. And then our DP, our brilliant DP, Will McKnight, had also just had a baby like a week before we started filming. So we just had like babies all over the place. And it was so delightful and fun and kind of this special moment where, if we're lucky enough to keep making these movies for a long time, which I hope we get to, this experience will always be the one where we all just became parents or becoming parents and going back to work and like trying to figure out what that is. And it was just such a fun thing to do with your friends who really do feel like family. And so it was such a lovely way to kind of go back to work in this new life role that I'm in. And
you were a trooper. I don't know whether it's an Aries thing, because I went right back to work just like you just did when I had my boys. And I'm telling you, it was like I have 2 sons. And so I, and it's like, plow fields by day, make babies by night. I mean, and drop them in the field and go back to work.
It's definitely it's 2 full-time jobs at the same time, for sure.
At the same time. Yeah.
But I'm so lucky that I have so much support from our incredible cast and crew, from our hair and makeup team, who are incredible, like our wardrobe team, our camera team. Everyone is so supportive, and it was just so lovely to be in that experience with such a nice group of people. And Jessica was just shortly behind me, so she's like, "What do I need to know?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm new here. I'm figuring this out too." So to have a new mom and
my advice from years ago, and I'm like, go like, "Oh, don't worry about this. You're gonna be fine."
Yeah, it was a really special moment in time, and it's also precious in the early days, and it all goes so fast. That was a really big and wonderful chapter of my new momhood. So it will always hold a special place in the Aurora Teagarden arc for me.
Yeah, You're so right, though. It does feel like a family when you're over there, because we're held up there for 6 weeks, 7 weeks at a time.
But it does feel like, for me, because I live so far, because I'm in the Southeast, right? So when I come, I feel like I'm traveling across North America to like a family reunion. I'm like, packing up, we're going to see the fam. It's going to be great.
Let's just talk about the socializing we did on this one. Going out to dinners, having a great time. Evan's laughing because we had so many good, first of all, it's beautiful where we shoot. Is just gorgeous in Victoria. And so, anytime you can socialize with your cast outside of the set, that's pretty special. Plus, we were in a lot of great locations.
Yeah, when we're not living and breathing the series,
right?
We're talking about it, having fun, hanging out as a cast. I think it's pretty special.
And I think it's like there's something about that kind of camaraderie that jumps off the screen for people too. People want to feel that Sally and Aurora and Arthur, that they're friends, and they want to see our relationship, Aida and and Aurora's relationship grow.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Yeah.
It's true. And I mean, it's so lucky that, you know, like Evan and I became huge addicts of our new favorite board game. Is it Balderdash?
Yeah. I didn't have to think twice. Balderdash. Yeah, it's my new
Balderdash. We became obsessed. So our partners and I like became like a little game squad, and that was like the Saturday night thing to do, was to just like play board games. And my goodness, it's so much fun.
So fun. Mary Lou, do you know Balderdash?
I do. It's great.
Oh, she's so good at it.
Mary Lou would be the queen of Balderdash.
Sure. Well, we'll have to play next time.
Yeah, we're new to it. But yes, that was so much fun. But
okay,
yes.
So let's talk about the two cases, because the first one is called, you know, and you talked about there's parts of it that are at a, not pack and play, at a park and play. What is it called?
Pack and play. You've got babies on the mind.
Babies,
yes. Alice.
Exactly. Yeah. So that you know, it's like a student is killed, right? And so you know, we want to be so careful not to give too much away. But what's fun for my character is, you know, Aida is so confident in the other series. She's been doing the whole real estate thing for a while, and she's got her own office and stuff. But now in the earlier prequel version, I've just not lost my job, but I've had to close my operation because there's been a recession, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm kind of a temp. And my temp, this movie, is to work on campus, which is so fun because I say to her, well, we're going to get to have lunch every day. And of course, you know, she's like, oh God, Sally saved me. But it's really fun because I get to be on campus. I get to meet your mentor. I get to, you know, even connect a little bit with the student who dies. And the other thing for me that was fun for Discovery, I hope, and cut this out if I'm not allowed to say this, but it's the first time that I get to see Aurora's murder board in the attic of our home. And it's like, what?
She knows what she's doing. Yeah.
Yeah. The obsession is on full display on this one. Yeah.
It really is. That was good. Some of those shots too were so cool with the murder board.
Yeah. And
the twirlies. Oh, I love that shot.
There's some really amazing and fun visual storytelling in A Lesson in Murder. Like it not only is different, like you were saying, Mary Lou, as far as the type of murder and, you know, our suspects and kind of how that pans out, but also the way that we see it is different. So it's really just sort of refreshing across the board because it's not typical of the type of case, and it's also not typical of the way that we see it solved. So it's it's fun. It's really fun.
You know, well, let's talk about your characters and how much they've changed. Not so much changed, because I know that both of you are like real research people. So I know that you watched the original Aurora, but now you came and did the first one and were fabulous. But now we're seeing another whole level, another whole thing happen between the two of you as your characters. But you know, and it's so interesting for me to watch because you see the history. And I see the past, present, and the future, and it's incredible how you two are delivering on that. It's very special.
Well,
so what has that been like for the two of you?
I mean, like, I think naturally what's cool about these stories is each time they solve a case, they'll grow closer. But what I loved about the third movie that's coming out tomorrow.
Yes, I know.
It's the
Death
first
in the Diner, Hallmark Plus, Death in the Diner.
Death in the Diner. Yeah. We're seeing them have to go through a phase of not really being certain of the other, and then trying to come out on the other side of that. Whereas, because in the past, it's always been, you have this clue, I'm by the books, and let's just, you know, use each other and get the best result. Yeah. But this one, we're seeing kind of a new thing, you know, Sky. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's interesting. For Aurora, things are getting more and more personal with her murder, with her life, and we're sort of watching this pressure mounting. You know, like in the first movie, the murder revolves around Sally's fiance and the business partner and all of that. So it's kind of in Aurora's periphery. But now it's one of her students, so it's close. And then the third movie, you know, it's her boss. So we're getting closer and closer to Aurora's sort of personal, vulnerable life, and then having to sort of separate herself from that to solve the crime is hard because, you know, even for a super sleuther like Aurora, it's hard to separate your emotions, you know, from your task at hand of trying to solve the murders. So with Evan's character, Arthur, I think it's really nice because we have this interesting arc of, I feel like we get much closer in the second movie in A Lesson in Murder. There's some really lovely, juicy moments up in the attic, you know, with the murder board, and you get to have these quiet moments between Aurora
in the attic.
In the attic, yes. And we don't really see Aurora quiet often. You know, she's fast talking, she's on the move, she's chasing someone, she's pulling books. Like, she probably sleeps like 45 minutes a day. Like, this woman's schedule is jam-packed. So like there's a very rare window where she's sort of reflective, and the kind of only person that she does that with is Arthur. And so there's some nice moments for their relationship that happen in movie 2. And like Evan was saying in Death at the Diner, we see that they've become closer, but the nature of the murder in the third movie really puts a strain on their relationship. Exactly. And it kind of calls into question, like, forget about whether or not they could end up as a couple. Like, even as friends, are they going to survive this? Because there's a lot at stake and everything is super duper personal. And so it's a juicy narrative, but I like where Arthur and Aurora land. And I think it sets us up for some very juicy stuff in the future.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, so, I mean, the two of you have such an incredible trust. And that was one of the questions that, you know, people want to see about your relationship, the kind of trust that you have. But how do you feel your characters, you know, are relating to the other characters beside the two of you? Like, where do you see your relationship with Sally, to your business, to the Steve Basic character who plays Detective Cook? You know, so taking it outside of the two of you, because I know for me, the third one, which is called A Death in the Diner, Aurora and I, we fight. We have an argument. It's one of the few movies where I've had like a real argument with her. And it was like so much fun to go into that, because we're mother and daughter and we challenge each other. I mean, if you my relationship with Aurora reminds me so much of my son, Nick, who Skylar knows. And it's, you know, when you have a kid that's very much like you end up butting heads quite a bit and questioning each other and challenging each other in a way that other people won't. They won't cross that line because they won't be as honest. So I think there's an honesty between the two of you and a trust. But let's talk about the other, and an honesty between, you know, Aurora and Aida. So what about with you and the other characters? How do you feel the second and third, you know, movies have helped you grow with the other characters in the piece?
Well, I love what you were saying about us fighting, because that was one of the things I really enjoyed from Death at the Diner. Because I think, one, mothers and daughters love each other to death, but they also will fight to the death. That's just something that happens in family dynamics. Like you said, sometimes the people that you're most similar to and you love the most, you clash with. And I think in the spirit of everything getting more personal for Aurora, you know, her sort of sounding board of Arthur and Aida and Sally, everyone's sort of like, hey, Ro, like, maybe we pump the brakes, like, you're getting a little carried away. And I'm sort of like, yeah, anyway. And like, I'm sort of barreling through on my, you know, obsessive murder solving spree. And I think it's good when we see the people closest to Ro kind of check her. Because she's always checking suspects and she's checking the facts and she's checking everything. But I think it's nice when we see, you know, her people kind of push back on her a little bit, because Aurora is definitely playing with the boundaries of what she should and shouldn't be doing. And so I think as she does that, the boundaries of her relationship with Aida and with Sally and with Arthur really shift around. You know, like with Sally, especially in movie 3, Sally becomes more sort of stern with Aurora. She sort of becomes this conscience that's nagging at her and, you know, trying to get her to face a reality that she doesn't want to. And, you know, I'm vehemently in disagreement with my mother about what she thinks happened. And my friendship with my best friend Arthur is maybe on the outs.
Mhm.
Unless we forget my relationship with Steve Basic, Detective Cook.
Oh, well, that's
You know.
one of my favorite dynamics in the whole show.
Well, she's constantly testing the waters. You know, it's like, I'm going to do this and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, wait, nobody's stopping me. I'm going to do this. And it's like, whoa, what do you mean pump the brakes? You know,
I think Aurora is sometimes like the fly that's like buzzing around the room that Detective Cook is in, where he was like, what is that? She can't make it stop. It's just like she can't help herself. But I do think we sort of see her annoy, impress, and then subtly win over Detective Cook between movies 2 and 3. And I think there's something nice about watching those two kind of go head to head, but then also find mutual respect for one another and kind of end in a place where it's like, okay, you know, we both are dedicated to, you know, the truth and solving murders, and we are both dedicated to caring about Arthur. Like, we can be comrades kind of thing. So that's sort of a fun relationship.
And he's charmed by you, which I think is so fun to watch. Like, can't help it, kind of like, you know.
Steve Basic would love that we're talking about him this much.
Oh,
He would love it. I mean, he is like, you know, it's like you do a scene with him and there's like surprised that there's any scenery left, but in a good way. He fills it. He doesn't just occupy time, he occupies space.
Yes,
you know,
in the best way.
He
in a
fills
good way.
every moment.
In a good way. Yeah.
He's a blast. I mean,
He is.
So much fun. So I'm so glad he's a great addition to the whole Aurora Teagarden franchise. I think he's incredible.
Big time.
He's really great. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I want to know, like, are there any clues that we can give out about, because, you know, you don't want to give too much away, but people are interested in knowing, are there any clues that we can sort of, little tidbits that we can drop along the way? We've already said that we had a fight in the third, but in the third, my favorite scene is not just the fight, but the resolution to everything, our scenes and stuff.
I would probably like trust no one, and even people that we've grown very familiar with in the cast, no one's off the table, which is, I think, just a blank slate. You can't trust anyone in episode 3.
Yeah, that's
off there, Mary Lou.
Yeah.
But what do you think, Sky? Pretty much just that. I'd say.
I mean, that was a pretty juicy clue. I don't think I could say it much better than that. It's true. The people we've come to know and love are now, you know, on our suspect list, and I think that plays to how it becomes very hard for Aurora to be objective, because people that she knows and love are now pinned to her board, and so it's like, how do I think about these people that I love?
And she's new to this.
And that's
the audience, if they've seen the other ones, they know that she has solved a lot of crimes in the future. But this is
I'm not good at this. I'm not at all. But that's kind of the point, right? Is like we're watching Ro become Aurora Teagarden that we've met before. This is sort of like how she sort of fell into this experience and this sort of identity in her life, where I don't know that it was something I
don't know if she fell into it or she pummeled her way into it.
It's a little bit of both, you know. Yeah, it's sort of something that I think was never intentional, but she can't not be a part of it. It's sort of this like compulsive desire that she has to find the truth. She believes in justice. And I think that those principles for her are always there, and they are at odds with the people that she loves. And so I think you're really watching Aurora have some moral dilemmas about the things that she really believes in and the people she thought she believed in. And so that's kind of an interesting, you know, divide for her.
One of the clues that I will also give about the third one, because I love both of these so much. I love the third one because of our relationship, but also because it's Aida's first foray into maybe doing a real estate gig again. So she gets this job, and Aurora might kill it for her. So it's like, you know, there's the butting heads of that too. So it's Aida's vulnerability to a situation where it's almost like parent and child kind of switches for a while. So I'm asking advice, and there's something, I think that the relationships are just so, they've gotten deeper. And I think they're going to be a lot more fun for the audience to watch
They
And
are. And
gross.
you make a good point. I mean, I'm not only threatening your job, which is like not a great move because I know how hard you've been working to do that. And once again, my compulsive behavior just gets in the way. But I'm also putting Arthur's job at risk because I'm super duper crossing the boundaries of what I should be asking and doing. And so my best friend and my mother, the two people I probably love most besides Sally, I am totally jeopardizing their careers. And I don't do it on purpose. It comes from a well-intentioned place, but like, I think Aurora, her heart is in the right place. The execution, not always so good. So I think we're sort of watching her sort that out. And I think that puts a lot of strain in the third movie where my relationship with Aida is strained. My relationship with Arthur is strained. Sally and I are in a disagreement about who, killed the victim. And so now it's like, who is in my corner? Who do I believe? The people closest to me are now kind of on the outs with me. Like, what do we do? So you're right. It is fun seeing the depth of all those relationships.
Yes, I think the audience is in for a real treat with both of these for different reasons. I think that the sort of the how would you say just the incredible the yarn, the journey of the second one of Lesson in Murder is incredible. I mean, it's just fabulous. And just the way it looks visually and everything else. But I think that the third one offers something about the characters that I don't think we've ever seen before in this franchise. So I'm very excited to hear the reaction to both.
Yeah.
It's like two different colors, two different things. Okay, so now if we get to do, what am I talking about if we get to do? When we do a fourth one, is there something that you would like to see happen in one of the movies? If you had to pitch an idea, I love that somebody wrote this in a question because you know what my idea is. I don't know if they'll do it.
I loved your idea.
Everyone loves the Mary Lou idea. We are so on board.
She's got some good ones.
I don't know if I can. Maybe I shouldn't say it.
I think it's good because I think it's very well.
Let's push for that.
So let's pause on that because I love that.
It's so good. We have to keep it a secret until we can actually
want to do it.
But that is on my personal to-do list, is like to bring that to life. So
yes.
Big time.
That's really, really special.
Yes.
I think it'll check a lot of boxes.
But
what do you think, Sky? Like, what would be your ideal mystery next for this?
Well, I definitely have some ideas of mysteries, but I think in a broader sense, I think what I would love to see is getting more into the backstories of these characters that were always teased in the original series, but never really realized. And so I think a big part of that is seeing Arthur and Aurora finally, maybe sort of get together, figure it out. At the very least, they need to admit to each other their feels because they have not been good about that. So I feel like watching them kind of come into that would be really exciting. But I also think in the nature of the murders getting more personal and Aurora having some more experience under her belt, kind of complicating the nature of the murders that she's involved with and how she's learning to really solve them in a more sophisticated way. Because now she's had more experience. She's had more cases to draw from. Her relationships are getting more interesting. She's meeting more people. She's drawing on more stuff. I think it would be really fun to just sort of change the way that we see these murders take place. I mean, I feel bad for the population of Lawrencetown because they're going down fast, but
a little hard to sell real estate.
It's a hard but there's lots of people we haven't met yet in that world who I think are going to make for very fun suspects and victims in the future. So
and also, I love the idea of having a few more Easter eggs, like people from future episodes, the past future episodes, it's like Back to the Future, show up, people that we know get killed later on or situations that lead to a murder later on. Because I think the fans, the people who watch it, the really observant Aurora Teagarden lovers, they're going to love being able to find those little hooks, those little Easter eggs.
I hope so. I think those are so fun and satisfying, for me. When I watch shows that I love and I get to see those things, it's like, oh, yes, like it's so satisfying, sort of like solving a mystery within the mystery.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to play rapid fire. Okay, we're going to say which one of the three of us, and let's do it like this. I'll read it, and then we'll go 1, 2, 3, and then we'll say the name. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Who would be the first one at a crime scene? 1, 2, 3.
Mary Lou.
I would.
I'm so used to seeing you as Ro that I can't distinguish the two characters.
It happens.
You're probably right. Probably would be Mary Lou.
Okay. All right. Let's say everybody, even when you're talking about yourself, say the first name. Okay. Okay. Who's the most likely to spend their evenings at a diner? 1, 2, 3.
Evan.
I don't know why, but I feel like I'd be alone at that diner, and I think you guys meant that too. Was that in the?
Why though? Why did we all come to that?
I don't know.
Unanimously.
Because I eat out alone.
Oh, really? Okay.
Anyway, that's a damper on this thing.
Okay. Who would be? Who is the person who is most likely to participate in a stakeout? 1, 2, 3.
Skylar.
Mary Lou.
Oh, I got Skylar, except maybe not now. Maybe because of your baby.
Yes. Well, if I can work the stakeout around nap time and bedtime, then 100%.
Here you go.
Yeah.
We'll put it in
Day stakeout.
Okay. Who among the three of us, and say the first name, and say it loud enough, Evan, because sometimes you're not loud. Okay. Who is the most likely to teach a class? 1, 2, 3.
Mary Lou.
Yeah, me, definitely, because I do that all the time anyway, whether anybody wants the information or not. Okay. Who is the most likely to stream a movie or series all weekend? 1, 2, 3. Evan. Oh, really? You?
Oh, I just did that.
Did you? I guess I haven't really been doing that lately, but I said me. Mary Lou, did you say me?
I said you. I said you, Evan.
I think you and I are tied for that. You probably have more time to do that, but I, for the first time in months, just did like a full binge.
Yeah.
What did you binge?
It's deserved.
I watched a show called Nobody Wants This on Netflix, which is so
great.
cute. I can't stand it. I am such a sucker for a rom-com. And I also grew up in the Veronica Mars OC age. So that was awesome for me. It was so cute. It was so good. I just was like, okay, one more episode. Okay, one more episode. And then I was like, oh my gosh, it's 4 a.m. What have I done? But I just couldn't put it down. It was so cute.
That's so cute. It's so funny. I've never streamed anything until quarantine. Then I got into it a little bit, and I missed that from quarantine. Now, and even during quarantine, I cannot stream something without doing something else at the same time. I feel too guilty. watching.
Interesting. I don't have
fun
that.
though. I mean, that's why I'm so excited about Hallmark Plus, because sometimes you're just in the mood to get cozy and have a little binge, and it's so fun.
I know, and all the movies are on, not just ours, not just the whole Aurora Teagarden series, but all the Christmas movies. Everything is available.
Yeah, that's probably 25 years worth of binging. So the audience is set. You guys are good. That library is deep. You guys are good to go.
Yeah. Well, I think my entire house is going to get even more organized than it already is, because I'm going to have Hallmark Plus on while I'm doing it, while I'm organizing everything. Do you know I figured out I've done 31 Hallmark movies?
31.
21 mysteries.
Wow.
No, 21 Aurora Teagardens. I think I just.
Goodness.
Yeah.
That's a lot, Mary Lou. Wow.
I know.
That's really good.
The reigning queen of Hallmark.
I hope I can do 31. I hope you do 31 of yours.
Amen to that.
Well, any last words, you guys? Anything you want our audience to know before they go and sign up for Hallmark Plus and watch the one last week that started last week, A Lesson in Murder, and Death in the Diner. So, any last words?
I would just say these are two very different mysteries, and I think viewers are really going to appreciate the different kind of storytelling in each movie and where this series can potentially go after this. I think there's endless opportunities, endless options where we could take this.
It's so true. And I think it's fun now that you can watch all 3 back to back.
Yes.
Because there are through lines that were, like you said, that yarn that we're threading through all of the movies. So as I just admitted, I love that feeling where you get to just like take it all in one juicy go. And I feel like it'll be so fun for the audience to, refresh with the first movie, watch A Lesson in Murder, and then to end with Death at the Diner. I really think it's going to leave people wanting more. And I do love when our fans, like tag us on Instagram and are vocal and tell us what they thought of it, because we just get so much support and so many great ideas from our Aurora Teagarden fans. It means so much. So I hope
we should have people pitch us movies. I don't know if that's allowed.
That would be
kind of
fun
fun to have a contest. And
listen, no one knows Hallmark better than the Hallmarkies. Okay, so I think there's a good idea there for sure.
Well, I know the queen
True.
of the Hallmarkies. She's no, Rachel. I mean, she's unbelievable. So yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, I love you guys. I'm so glad we got to do this.
It's so fun. It's so good to see you guys too. So good to see you.
I know.
I miss you both.
I know. Likewise. It's really been
So make sure you sign up so we can do a lot more of these.
Yes, please. We want another family reunion, guys.
You're gonna love my idea, right, guys?
Oh, it's so good.
Big time. Big time.
Revolutionary.
Yes. Okay. Love from the Hallmark family of Aurora Teagarden.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.